I hope this is a rude awakening for everybody out there who is pro-big government, pro-socialism, and pro-communism. Because what's happening right now is exactly why our government should never be in control of our food, our health, or our housing. Because if it serves their purpose, they will let you starve and die homeless on the streets. Wake up, people.
That is facts. You know, this government shutdown should have been a wake-up call to folks that, you know, this whole idea of socialism, right? Having the government take over anything or control anything is a horrible idea. It's a horrible idea because as you saw, when it suits them, they will cut you off. Gone. Done. And we see it still with Democrats, even though the government is getting ready to reopen again because the House, I believe they're going to vote on reopening today, if I remember correctly, if I saw that correctly. If not today, it's going to be very, very soon. By the end of this week, the House is going to vote on that, and I expect every Republican to vote yes. There are Democrats that have been asked recently were the shutdowns worth it, and they still are saying yes. So if it suits their needs, they will cut you and your funding off. Every bit of it. Every bit of it. It's crazy.
Slavery would have worked. We just implemented it wrong. Sounds ridiculous, right? Well, that's how y'all sound when you say we're going to try socialism one more time. This time it'll work. Quick recap of socialism. Okay, Karl Marx thought it up in the 1800s. Vladimir Lenin made it real around 1917 under the Soviet Union. It failed miserably. 20 million people died from forced collectivization and starvation. Mao tried socialism in China in the 1900s. 30 million people died. Venezuela, once South America's richest nation, lost 75% of its economy under socialist Hugo Chavez. It's the same pattern every time. Look at North Korea and South Korea. South Korea, you got a free market system that built an economy worth over $1.7 trillion. North Korea's socialist state leaves people literally living on less than $1,000 a year. Even Sweden tried full-blown socialism somewhat recently.
I've seen some things that have come out of North Korea, and it is just absolutely diabolical. Diabolical. You know, I saw this video of this young lady who was out working in some fields, and she was completely emaciated. I mean, just basically skin and bones. And apparently, according to the video that I saw, she died shortly after that video. You know, and that was her daily life. Her daily life. Crazy, ain't it? Absolutely crazy. Some of the stories that we've heard of people, you know, from people who have left North Korea, who have managed to make it out. Just, yeah, nah. No sorry, Bob. You know, and it's funny because, you know, people always, well, whenever Trump's in office, right? They always want to say, Trump's a dictator, he blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, not even close. Not by a long shot. You want to see a dictator? Go to North Korea. See if you can protest there. See if you can march down the streets and say F you to the government. Try it. I dare you. I'll never see you again. Guarantee it. I'd bet every dollar I got. You know what I'm saying? I guarantee you will never be seen again. And if we do manage to find you, it's because we dug you up somewhere. But they want to accuse Trump of being a dictator. And it's like, nah, bro. Nah. Talk to somebody who's escaped North Korea. Then come holler at me about dictator. You know? It's crazy, man. But continue on, girl. Keep cooking.
Even Sweden tried full-blown socialism somewhat recently. State control, 80% tax rate. And that failed miserably, so then they freed the markets. It fails every time it's implemented. So why is the left so gung-ho for it? They're calling it a different name. They're calling it democratic socialism. D'Souza just calls it identity socialism.
That also annoys me. Democratic socialism. You know, they try to put like this extra label. It's democratic socialism. No, bro, it's socialism. Like, just because you try to add like another label to it doesn't change what it actually is. You know what I mean? Just because you call, I don't know, Just because you call a pig a caterpillar doesn't all of a sudden mean that pig is actually a caterpillar. Like, no, it's still a pig. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, it's democratic socialism. Like, come on, bro. It's socialism. Stop it.
They basically fuse the old school Marxist collectivism with modern identity politics. So what's that mean? Everything is ours. It's not yours. It's not mine. It's ours. And you're the victim. And the tagline, tax the rich. But here's the problem. They're already taxing the richest of the rich 54% in some places. That's more than half their income. Some of you might think that sounds great. Bernie Sanders, for instance, proposed a 70% top tax rate. But here's the problem. The rich aren't the only ones seeing higher tax rates. You are too. History shows us that these taxes never stay at the top. They always trickle down to everyone else. I guarantee you, no matter what income bracket you're in, you're paying more in taxes overall than your parents were when they were your age. That's why the majority of Americans were very glad to see Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill pass, because that prevented a tax hike in every income bracket. So why should people favor capitalism in America over socialism? Well, besides the fact that capitalism has lifted over 1 billion people out of extreme poverty since the 1990s, it created the airplanes, the medicines, the smartphones, the Uber Eats that you use every single day. Why would any of these people continue to innovate or create if they knew that their hard work was not going to be rewarded? But to be clear, capitalism has its flaws. It generates greed and envy, but my friends, here's the thing, those sins will always be there. The secret is that Bernie Sanders is greedy too. That's why he has 3 homes and is worth millions of dollars. But the difference between him, a socialist, and a capitalist is that Bernie did not create that wealth. He stole it from you for himself. The capitalist created his own money and he simply might want to keep it. Capitalism, despite its flaws, creates prosperity, freedom, and choice. Socialism fails over and over and over again and only delivers economic stagnation. And before y'all come barking at me, go read George Orwell's books and then go read Dinesh D'Souza's The United States of Socialism, and then we'll talk.
Be right back. No, on a serious note, yeah, I mean, listen, if you have a product or a service, you should be able to make however much money you can off of that product or service with no limitations. You shouldn't be penalized because you created something that everybody uses. If anything, you should be rewarded. In capitalism, you are rewarded by people buying your product. What do you know? You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, this stuff is crazy. And I think a lot of people on the left, mainly on the left, want socialism because they're lazy. They're lazy. And I'm trying to think of a nice way to say this. I don't think there really is a nice way to say it. The light's on, but nobody's home, you know? And so they're not able to create anything that's worth something to anybody else. They understand that. They realize that. And half the time, even if they were, they're too lazy to actually follow through on it. And so they just want to take from everybody else. Oh, no, you created something and you've made a lot of money and become rich and successful? No, we gonna take that back. And like that never works. It never works. It never has and it never will. I want to play this clip from Caitlin Bennett. Shout out to Caitlin Bennett. I've actually checked out Caitlin Bennett several times before in the past, so you guys may recognize her face. She does a lot of street interview type of content. So shout out to Caitlin Bennett. I think her channel is called like Liberty Hangout. I think, yeah, it's I think her YouTube channel. Matter of fact, here, let me pull it up real quick just to give her a quick little shout out real quick before we get into this clip. I'm almost positive her channel is called Liberty Hangout. Liberty. Yeah, so here's her channel here, Liberty Hangout, as you can see right there. She does a lot of street interview type of deals. So shout out to her. But I want to show y'all this clip because she's talking to someone who actually lived through what it is that these liberals claim that they want to live through too. So check it out. Here it is.
Are you the one that was in the car right there?
Yes.
You pulled
I'm
over
watching
to say
you
hi.
for the past 3 days. So many times. It's amazing. I'm from communism.
Okay.
Okay? This is crazy. Like, seriously. I don't know what they want to resist. I have no clue.
I can't get in.
Yeah, sure. Of course. I've been to communism, all of that stuff, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Where are you from?
Hungary.
Oh wow.
So back in the days, it was it was actually communist,
Yeah, absolutely.
and it sucked. So anybody, I don't understand those people in this country who actually are saying,
What do you think about Mom Donnie about to win and be the mayor of New York, a proud
God
communist?
bless New York.
Yeah, that's why we're here in
Seriously,
Florida,
listen,
right?
I live behind the Iron Curtain. Making things like that to want socialism and want communism is one of the dumbest thing anybody can say in this country. And I would literally make it as a college requirement that you have to go for 3 months as a volunteer to a third world country to actually notice how good you have it.
Yeah.
Because that's the only solution. Because what's going on in colleges, it's ridiculous. They don't really understand anything whatsoever.
How do you think we got to the point where a communist, proud out there communist, is about to become the mayor of the largest city in our country?
We made it happen. Us. We wanted better for the children. So we let them do whatever they want, and you simply did not educate them. I mean, I have a friend of mine who has no idea what Auschwitz is. 42 years old.
Really?
Explain that to me. How can you possibly go through life of 42 years of not knowing what that is? That's the scariest thing I have ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Nothing more scarier than that one. I don't even know how is that possible.
Yeah, I honestly am speechless. I don't know how that's possible. That's
Seriously.
insane.
And
Yeah.
that actually happens.
Yeah.
And that's education. There's no education. It's like, everything is shielded, everything is stopped. We're not gonna piss off anybody whatsoever. And it's crazy as far as I'm concerned. And it's either party, it doesn't really matter which one it is. Because the Republican Party is just as, corporate on this one than anybody else. You know what I mean? It's absolutely crazy.
Well, thank you for pulling over and saying
Honest to
hi.
God,
I
seriously,
appreciate it. Seriously, I'll
absolutely,
give you a little
I
hug.
had to. I absolutely had to.
Are you the one?
Shout out to Caitlin. But no, actually, I kind of like the idea of requiring college students to go live in a third world country for a month. You have to go live in a third world country where there's legit communism, or just third world country in general. I kind of like that idea so that they can genuinely see how well they actually have it here in America. Because I do think that is part of the issue. I do think that's part of the issue. People have grown so accustomed to luxury, that is absolutely insane. People, I'm so broke, I'm so destitute, I'm so down bad right now, but they have $1,000 cell phone. And it's like, wait, what? You have $1,000 phone, but you're telling me you're broke. You could have gone to the corner store and got you one of those prepaid boys, you know what I mean? For I don't know how much they cost now, $100, and got you some uploaded you some minutes on it and use that as your phone rather than $1,000 cell phone. You have $1,000 cell phone. You have a car that gets you from point A to point B, and you're telling me that you're absolutely flat broke. You're not. Are you well off? Maybe not. Are you rich? Probably not. But you're not flat broke. Flat broke is having a Mike and Ike it everywhere like people in these third world countries have to do. Being flat broke is not even having a cell phone, right? So you can't even call nobody. You got to walk to wherever it is to wherever they are to contact them, to talk to them. That's being flat broke. But we've grown so accustomed to all of these different things, all of these different luxuries that when you don't have, X, Y, and Z, you consider yourself broke. And it's like, come on, bro, stop it. And social media hasn't made that any better because everybody wants to keep up with the Joneses, right? Everybody has to have the latest and greatest. And if you don't, then you feel like your life is falling apart because everybody on social media is posting highlights. What I like to say is that people post on social media highlights. They take the highlight of their life and then they take the highlight of that. They take these big highlight moments, ooh, this extravagant vacation, and then they take the best moment out of the vacation, and that's what you get to see. You don't get to see when they was flat broke, struggling, trying to make it. You don't get to see when they couldn't afford to, pay their phone bill, so their phone got cut off. You don't get to see when they got the notice on that front door that they were getting evicted. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get to see these things. You don't get to see when they stranded on the side of the road and their engine smoking and their car broke down. You don't get to see those things. All you get to see is like the flashiness, the cars, the clothes, and the clubs, and bottle popping, and money, and blah, blah, the whole nine, the vacations. And it's like, first off, you don't know what they had to go through to get there. And second, you don't know what they're doing to get it. Or who's funding it, who's paying for it, or even if it's fake. Or if that person is even happy with it. Maybe they're just genuinely miserable. Still, like, social media has, in my opinion, has definitely played a role, but also just simple education in letting these college students understand and see that, bro, actually, you have it pretty well off. Are you balling and driving the Lamborghinis and living in a 20,000 square foot mansion and stuff like no, but not everybody is going to. That's not realistic. That's not real life. You know what I'm saying? Some people think that that's supposed to be real life for everybody, and it's like, no, that's not. It's not at all. Not by a long shot. Because if you go to these third world countries, you'll truly understand what it is to have nothing. Literally have nothing. But anyway. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on how we can continue to educate the youth to make sure that we stop going back and forth with this silly experiment of socialism as if it's actually going to work. It is not. We all know that. But some of these young folks, man, they keep buying the dream hook, line, and sinker. So how can we stop it? Let me know. Stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.